Good morning, students. In the last class, we have discussed how do organisms obtain their nutrition. That we have discussed that how unicellular organisms obtain their nutrition. In the case of amoeba, by forming pseudopodia, nutrition is obtained. In the case of paramecium, a special spot is present through which by means of or by the help of ciliary movement food will be taken in, and that particular part is known as cytostome. One of your friends has asked what is that part by which paramecium takes in the food. That is cytostome. Cyto means of cell. Stoma means mouth. It is acting like mouth of the cell in the paramecium. So it is called cytostome. So through cytostome the food is taken in by paramecium. Coming to nutrition in human beings. The nutrition in human beings, it is completed in totally 5 phases. They are ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and digestion. So nutrition in human beings is completed in total how many phases? 5 phases. Ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation, and digestion. Except assimilation, remaining 4 processes are carried out in a long tube-like structure. The long tube-like structure in which the nutrition process in human beings is carried out is called alimentary canal. Alimentary canal. It is also called gut. Right? Okay. And this alimentary canal has different parts in different portions in order to perform different functions. The alimentary canal of humans has different parts, which are various regions that are specialized to perform different functions. What are those parts? Let us discuss. So if you carefully see this picture, this particular part is known as mouth. The mouth leads to a big cavity-like structure called buccal cavity or oral cavity. in buccal cavity or oral cavity, totally three parts are present. One part is glands and another two parts are tongue and teeth. Next, the mouth leads to long tube-like structure which is known as esophagus or food pipe. Esophagus or food pipe. This esophagus, it joins with a J-shaped bag-like structure called stomach. The J-shaped bag-like structure called stomach. And here liver is present and here pancreas is present. So here salivary glands, liver and pancreas, they are the associated glands of a human digestive system. Then this stomach, it enters into small intestine, which is a coiled tube-like structure, which is very lengthier part of the entire alimentary canal. Since it is a lengthier part, it can be accommodated in a small portion only by extensive coiling. And small intestine leads to large intestine. Large intestine opens out through anus. Here one small part is there called appendix. This is vestigial part of human digestive system. These are various parts of human digestive system. So we eat different types of food and all these foods have to pass through the same digestive tract. So this food will be getting processed to generate even-sized particles which will be small and with the same texture. This processing of food to make it even-sized particles of same size and texture is achieved by crushing the food with our teeth. And the lining of the alimentary canal is very soft. If the food is hard or dry, it may cause some damage to the lining of the alimentary canal. So the food has to be made soft. So what will happen? The food will be wetted to make its passage smooth. How the food gets wetted? The food gets wetted by a fluid called saliva. Saliva is secreted by salivary glands that are present in our buccal cavity. Right? So here in the mouth, two things are achieved. One is making the food into smaller and even-sized particles and making the food wetted. Why the food has to be made into smaller and even-sized particles? Because the food has to pass through the same digestive tract. And why the food has to get wetted? Since the lining of the alimentary canal is soft, in order to not cause any damage, the food must be wetted so that its passage will be made smooth. And how the food gets wetted? With the help of saliva. Saliva is secreted by salivary glands. Okay. And the function of saliva is some other thing also, not only just causing what? The food wet. Okay. What is that other function? Saliva contains an enzyme called salivary amylase or ptyalin. this salivary amylase, it breaks down the starch substance of the food, okay, to give simple sugars. And the food is mixed thoroughly with saliva and moved around the mouth while chewing by the muscular tongue. So chewing will be done by muscular tongue. Crushing will be done by teeth. Chewing and crushing. Crushing will be making the food into even-sized smaller particles. Chewing will be making the food get mixed with the saliva so that the food will get wetted. Salivary amylase will digest the starch. These are the things that are taking place in the oral cavity. Okay. The food is in very complex nature. It has to be absorbed from the alimentary canal. In the complex form, the food cannot be absorbed. So the complex form of food has to be broken into smaller molecules. The process of conversion of complex form of food into smaller molecules is achieved with the help of biological catalysts called enzymes. Okay. So among such enzymes, saliva also contains one enzyme, that is salivary amylase or ptyalin. So whatever we have learnt, let us just write in small points. Okay. Right. So the parts of alimentary canal I am not writing, but once again let us go through it. Mouth, oral cavity or buccal cavity, followed by esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, anus. The associated glands, digestive glands of this alimentary canal are salivary glands in the buccal cavity, liver and pancreas attached to small intestine. Okay, liver is the largest gland in our body. Right. Why the food has to be made into smaller and even-sized particles? As different types of food have to pass through the same alimentary canal, all these different types of food must be made into even-sized smaller particles. And why the food has to be made, why the food has to be wetted? The lining of the alimentary canal is very soft. If the food is not wetted in the dry form, it may cause damage to the lining of the alimentary canal. So the food has to be wetted. The food will be wetted by saliva, and saliva is secreted by salivary glands. Extra information for you. There are 3 pairs of salivary glands in our buccal cavity. 3 pairs of salivary glands. The names of the salivary glands we will learn in 11th class. Right. Saliva contains what? Salivary amylase. Salivary amylase. And what is the name of this salivary amylase? Other name of this salivary amylase? Ptyalin. What is the function of salivary amylase? It digests the starch. Digest the starch into simple sugars. Salivary amylase digests the starch into simple sugars. What are biocatalysts? Biological catalysts. Biological catalysts are the substances that help to break a complex form of food into smaller molecules so that they can be absorbed from the alimentary canal. Biological catalysts. Or enzymes, digestive enzymes. They convert complex form of food into smaller molecules to be absorbed by alimentary canal. So this is the function that is achieved by them. So among such biological catalysts, which biological catalyst is present in the buccal cavity? Salivary amylase. What is the function of the biological catalyst in the buccal cavity? It digests. The biological catalyst present in the buccal cavity is salivary amylase, which digests the starch into simple sugar. So after all this processing is over and partial digestion of the starch is completed, food has to move to the next part of the alimentary canal. What is the next part of the alimentary canal? Esophagus. From where the food will move to stomach, from where the food will move to small intestine, from where the food will move to large intestine. The food has to move in a regulated manner along the digestive tube. Why the food has to move along the digestive tube in a regulated manner? The food has to move along the digestive tube in a regulated manner because the food has to be processed properly in each part. Otherwise, the digestion, absorption, all these things cannot be completed. It is very, very essential that the food has to move in a regulated manner along the digestive tube because the food has to be processed properly in each part of the alimentary canal. And the regulated movement of the food is achieved by the muscles that are present in the lining of the alimentary canal. The muscles that are present in the lining of the alimentary canal contract rhythmically so that the food will move or the food will be pushed forward in a regulated manner. These movements are called peristaltic movements. The rhythmic contractile movement of the muscles of the lining of the alimentary canal that make the passage of the food slow and steady are called peristaltic movements. Okay, what are peristaltic movements? Peristaltic movements. The rhythmic contractile movements, rhythmic contractile movements of of the muscles of the lining of alimentary canal. Lining of alimentary canal. The rhythmic contractile movements of the muscles of the lining of alimentary canal that make the passage of food slow and steady, or regulated manner. Regulated manner are called peristaltic movements. So peristaltic movements help in what? The slow and steady movement of the food or passage of the food through the alimentary canal, so that the food will be processed properly in each part of the alimentary canal. What is the significance of peristaltic movement? The food, because of the peristaltic movements, the food can be processed properly in each and every part of the alimentary canal. The food can be processed. The food can be processed. The food can be processed properly in each and every part. Each and every part of alimentary canal. This is the significance of peristaltic movements. So, remaining aspects of the human nutrition we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.